Are you going to introduce it? You looked like you were excited.
This is just us. Hi! That was probably really loud.
It was probably really loud.
This is us. I can see it.
Oh, you missed a word.
This is just us.
This is just.
Oh, that's the TV show. This is us.
This is us.
Yeah, Nicole that goes to church with me thinks that you look like
the guy from This Is Us.
Yeah.
Well, this is.
Let us know if you think that Anthony. I've never watched that show, but if you do, or if you have, you can let us know if you think that Anthony looks like the guy on This Is Us.
I get like Ben Stiller. I've gotten Corey from like Boy Meets World one time. Somebody told me I look like
two
him.
people don't look anything
I know,
alike.
I know. That's what I know. And then I've gotten the guy from This Is Us that was new for me. I can't remember.
Oh, Allie thinks the guy that plays Peter on Chosen.
Oh yeah. Hey, I wouldn't mind looking like him. He's a good looking dude. Like
he is a good looking
dude. He's handsome.
Well, all those people are good looking dudes.
Yeah. They're all like super.
If I had a type,
that guy's
not their bodies, but like the way they look.
They're all very handsome. Like.
And
they're like complexion.
Like, yes.
Yeah, the complexion and the beard and.
Yeah, they look. Yeah.
Speaking of complexion, remember that picture? We found some pictures that my parents had in boxes, and maybe I'll superimpose the picture up on here. I don't even know. Oh no, it's at my mom and dad's.
Yeah, I was gonna say you didn't take a picture.
I didn't take a picture of it. We were just like on FaceTime, but there's a picture of me from when I was like I don't know, like 9 years old.
Or writing.
No, I'm doing a science experiment. Okay. It was a science project. Yeah, I remember it. It was a science project that I was doing that was like how much water is used in showers versus baths. I was doing like do you save money? Yeah, it's actually baths use way less water than showers.
Constant dumping of water.
So I was doing an experiment.
Take more baths, everybody.
But no, the reason that picture, complexion. My complexion, like
Anthony was as dark as I am.
Like I was seriously
Which
as dark
also
as her.
Looking at us in this natural light right now, that probably doesn't mean anything significant because we look pretty similar.
Yeah.
And that's funny, but it's okay because Anthony's my fiance, so I can talk about him like that. Anthony is white. It's funny that people do ask me that.
What nationality is Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony is a white man, so for all of the people all the inquiring minds that want to know. And funny thing is that Anthony, like when we were new to each other, had said to me once, like, people have asked me if I was adopted before. Yeah. And like that honestly had gone through my mind, like before, because everything in our relationship happened super fast. So I'm like literally learning about somebody day to day, honestly. Yeah. So I was like, well, that made me feel so much better because I'm like, that crossed my mind because
yeah,
he's just
I look
so
very
much darker.
I'm way darker than all of my other siblings.
And your parents.
I'm like dark. Everybody else has blonde hair except for me. I have brunette hair and I have a beard and it's black. And I have really olive complexion skin. All my siblings, my two older siblings, Lori and Jeff, when they were in like high school, middle school, all their friends were like, "Did y'all adopt a little Hispanic boy?" Because I looked adopted. So, and like if this video is on it, like Lori, Jeff, feel free to comment and support, so that people know that we're not support the adoption. No, support that statement that that really did happen. Yeah, I used to also sing opera when I was a little kid.
Anthony's not adopted.
Not adopted. Not adopted at all. So we were going to talk about what were we going to talk about?
Preparation. This kind of bounced into a lot of different potential conversations. Literally right before we hit play, but I throughout the thought that we've never talked about how we met, because people ask still. Which it's been 8 months now. Yeah. And that still is like, some people I know plenty of people's stories who they got married like within 3 months. You know people the same way. So in that sense, like it's longer than that, but it's still like a lot is happening fast.
Well, and we also, we've talked about it on a previous video, like when we were recording in Allie and Rhett's home, that 5-month video, we talked about the fact like we've only spent in person.
Yeah, that does make it feel different.
So
like it's not like I'm spending 3 months around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've still.
By the time we get married, we'll have spent like maybe 4 or 5 months together in person.
Because like right now we have not even spent 3 months time.
No.
Like we've been together 8 months, but we haven't spent.
It's been like maybe a month and a half altogether with all the time in person. Yeah. Which, I mean, actually, well, maybe we might be closer to 2 months now because you've added some extra trips.
I know. Yeah. The distance hasn't been my friend.
This trip was kind of a spontaneous trip. So.
Yeah.
But
it's
so
okay.
Yeah, preparation. So we were talking about before we started recording, like about number one, telling the story about how we met. We did a video that was like all the questions leading up to us meeting in person.
What we were feeling, and then that 5-month video was a review of like where we were at then versus that 5 months, and even from 5 months, I feel like. Well, I was just talking about this recently, like with some of my friends at a Bible study, but how other people in long distance relationships can attest to that. And nobody's really experienced what we're experiencing because I was just talking about that. You get to hear me complain. It's like we have no choice. Like I literally. This is the craziest thing to me is like, I have to pay to see you. Or, if you gift me a flight, like you're paying to be able to see me. That's crazy. Yeah. Like most people don't have that experience. Literally, like I don't have the freedom of, I'm just going to hop in the car and go.
Well, that's
I mean, I could, but my goodness, by the time I do that, I'd have to literally turn right back around.
But you know what? I think that there's some biblical significance to that. Like, I think that the Lord, because all through the Word, like there was a dowry paid for the wife. Like there was.
He's giving us the full experience.
Leah, like the whole story of Rachel and Leah, and like having to work for 7 years. 14 actually, but. That's payment. Like
that always, not always, but maybe when was that? It was like around right before, well, not right before, but maybe like 6 months before I met you. That verse really stuck out to me, where it says that it didn't seem like a long time to him because how much he loved her
so fast.
Yeah, like the power of love, like God is love, like. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were gonna tell the story of how we met, like what we've been doing in preparation for marriage. So I mean, I guess to start the whole like how this all came about. So a lot of you know I was at Bethel first year graduation, and I had just finished graduation and I had to stay in Reading for a banquet. And so I had gone to get a haircut because my hair, I'm a little bit kind of weird about my hair, but I wanted my hair to get cut before I went to this banquet. And so I was in the barbershop and by the way, best barbershop I've ever experienced. I've never experienced a better barber experience than I did that day in Reading. Maybe it's because God knew that I was preparing to meet my wife, but it really marked me. That guy was really, really awesome. He was like so detail oriented. But so I got my hair cut, and then when I left the barber shop, and I felt like an overwhelming compulsion or inspiration or impression from the Holy Spirit to stop on the sidewalk and post in the 824 Singles Collective on Facebook, which is a collective that was created by Krista Miller, awesome lady that has done a lot to create a space for Christians that are single and kind of walking through that experience. And I think it's more geared towards like sharing your experience of being single as a Christian. But there's also been a lot of really cool testimonies of people meeting in that group. But I felt an overwhelming compulsion and impression to stop and put a post up about myself, reintroduce myself on that
Felt
group.
like led to read part of this.
Oh,
Not
she's
the
gonna
whole
read
thing, but
part
that's
of-
why I was grabbing my phone, because I
part
feel
of the
like
post.
yeah, God was like, this is very intense.
It
I
was well, like y'all. I was like, so I want to give you like let me give you a little bit of backstory about like God was doing a real intense work in me. You know, some of you know my testimony, and I had decided to go into a time of celibacy and being single, and I had given the Lord 1 year for my first year of sobriety, and then that came up, and then God had me give him another year, and then I got done with the second year and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm excited, I'm going to start dating, and then I felt like God gave me encouraged me to give him another year. And so in March of 2025, I had finally felt the release of the Holy Spirit to pursue dating. And it was a disaster because I had like this mind that didn't understand like how to even, I didn't know how to date. I didn't know how to listen to God about relationship. I'd never done that. All the relationships I'd ever been in were just flesh, mostly like they were fleshly driven. And I didn't know how to hear the voice of God in relationships. And so, from March to May, like I was so apprehensive about the process of dating, and I had really honestly had this like love-hate relationship with the 824 Singles Collective because I just like I didn't understand how to like communicate in that space. I didn't know how to I didn't know how to yeah, I just didn't know how to communicate with women. Like I didn't know
which
how do
is
you
funny
how
to
do you
me,
do that?
like even the very first conversation that Anthony and I had whenever I reached out to him on Facebook, this is funny to me because he asked me, would I have the availability like to fly fly out and meet him in person and spend a few days like the next week. And this is the first conversation, which I know
It was
like
for
there was
for a fundraiser. We were having a fundraiser coming up for Prodigal Road, and I was like, wow, what an amazing opportunity to have somebody to go with me to that fundraiser. And it was called Symphony of Second Chances. And so I just was like, well, I'll just ask her if she's available. And if she's available, then great.
yeah, but I was thinking, oh, wow. Like
It's
that's
very
a lot.
forward.
Yeah, I don't know you. You don't know me at all. Like, okay, yeah, God's good.
But it gets better. Here in a little
all
while.
in the middle of that.
Here in a little while, Sharnice, we're going to talk about something Sharnice said, which is like, whoa, because it was like God was doing something. And I don't know how to, we talked about this in our little video that we said, like in preparation of meeting in person, we talked about how it was almost like God was doing something in us for each other that we were unaware of, like God was preparing us. But I'll let you, if you want to, she's going to share a little bit of
not the whole thing.
Post that I posted.
Said, because this is where you were at. I just graduated from the first year of Bethel School of Supernatural Ministry and preparing to step into year 2. I live fully surrendered to the voice of the Lord, and I'm not looking to date casually or figure it out later. I'm believing for a woman of worship, someone rooted in the secret place who knows her worth, carries a prophetic edge, and is prepared to walk in the kind of partnership that advances the kingdom. I long for a marriage marked by joy, purity, presence, and purpose, a union that reflects Christ and the church, built not on convenience but on calling. If something in this resonates with your heart, whether to connect as friends or simply to encourage one another in the waiting, I'm here and I'd be honored to hear from you. You know,
I just heard something in that I don't think I paid attention to previously, but it built not on convenience. Like God, was
it's very inconvenient.
Oh yeah, like God's like, okay, so you want something that is not built in convenience. I'm gonna honor that and give you and I mean, that's kind of what we're wanting to like talk about today is like, that nothing about this has been convenient or easy in the sense of um, like just kind of go with the flow and just be in a relationship. It's like we've had to be very intentional. We've had to be very, um, honest and transparent about what's going on in our lives and our hearts and like the difficulties. And I think it's important. One of the reasons we like to share, like again, every video that we've done, like Sharnice has like had the idea of putting these videos together, which I thank you for like defending my honor in that, because all of my friends, if you saw in the last video, they all commented, were like, "Yep, I thought you were the one. I thought you were." But we want to share this story because it's unique, and also I think it gives hope to people if you're dating or considering dating, or if you're in the process of like planning to get married. These are all things that are going to happen. Like these are all, it's real. It's real life, and that's why like we call this is just us, because we just want to be honest and transparent and just vulnerable with all of you, and let you kind of get to see behind the curtain of kind of what goes on in our lives as we've been kind of going through this. But
yeah, and encouragement too that God, not just in a relationship sense, but it can be encouragement for that, but God moves in unexpected ways. And I know we all know that, but like when we hear testimony, it builds our faith. And that's the whole point of, having community and just hearing what other believers are going through. And
so I had posted on this group, and Sharnice sends me a message. She saw the post first.
I saw it. We didn't talk about that because you just mentioned. I was like, I remember you bringing this up in that video when we were sitting together, but we didn't really go into that. I saw the post on a Wednesday night. So there's over 8,000 people in this group. It's not quite 9,000, but that's a lot of people, and a lot of people post in there. Like Anthony's posted other things. I don't know if they were in that year or not, but I'd never seen anything that he had posted. I think the only thing I ever shared in there, like I did do an introduction post, but he did not see that. So I mean, like there's people constantly saying things, and like if you're on social media, like there's an algorithm, and like you're not going to see everything. But whenever I was leaving our youth group, I walked outside and was in the parking lot. I was getting in my car, and I pulled up my Facebook, and that post that he made was literally the first thing on my Facebook timeline. And I read it, and it wasn't like the intensity of it. I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean like this man's like really serious about God. Like it's not a game to you. And that's encouraging to me. It's like, wow, he loves people. And he shared about like things that he was doing in the parts that I didn't read, like his ministry and a little bit of his testimony, just briefly. But I felt like, wow, that's encouraging. But like the Holy Spirit prompted me that I needed to reach out to you. And I don't know him, which I don't mind to do that. I was just like, oh, okay. So I was kind of praying about why, because I wanted to have context and not just be like, hey, I mean, like, what's, like I'm very intentional in that sense too. I'm like, okay, what is God saying to this person? Or like, what is the connection here? And there's people that I've met that I've told them, like, just happened this past week, literally a few days ago. Like I told the person after the fact, I was like, I know I'm supposed to know you. I don't know like what God's doing right now, but I know like we were supposed to meet. And I started looking like on your Facebook to like, okay, well, like what's going on in your life? And at the time, me and a couple friends were working on some music things. And I was like, okay, like maybe that's why, like what God's doing. And then like I knew like all of your school stuff and stuff. So I don't know, like maybe you were supposed to pray for my healing or something's like specific. And didn't really feel as like, okay, they felt like me ideas. Like I know the difference. And when I'm hearing something like from the Lord and sensing something that he's showing me, and like my own like logic And they're like, God gives us wisdom. He gave us a brain for a reason. Like, I could put 2 and 2 together and try to like concoct this conversation, but it felt like there was something specific, that reason why I was supposed to like be connected to you. And obviously there was, but I didn't feel like he was giving me any guidance in that. So I kind of just like, okay, well, I guess I just don't need to message you right now. So I let that go. And then the next morning, like before I went to bed, it was on the back of my mind because I had driven home. I was getting to go to sleep. I was like, I just don't know like why. So the next morning, I had a really full day that day. I had to go help with this fundraiser. Like this company was unloading products for us, and I had to go meet them to unlock the door and like help them get all that done. And then I had to go meet somebody else. I don't even remember. Like, that's been so long ago. And then I knew I had a PT appointment because that was the transition. Like, I just wanted to go walk outside. So I went for a walk in between my physical therapy from rehab on my knee. And then I had a music class that afternoon for like toddlers. And then I had dance that night. But in between the music class and getting my knee worked on, I went for a walk and was praying for what to pray for you, like seeking God, like what was he wanting to tell me. Oh, but that got sidetracked. That morning, it just kept popping in my head. Like it was like a little like incessant, not in a mean way, like, oh, the Lord's like, I don't mean it like that, but literally like the definition of like, it would not like stop. Like the thought, like, you need to message this man. I was like, okay. And then it was just constant, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. So then I messaged you.
Yeah. When I got her message, it was so sweet. It was just basically like, I'm reaching out to you. I saw your post. It was the day after my post, which was kind of encouraging because I think it like allowed me to like, I just did what the Lord told me. I posted and I like let it go. Like I just like, I wasn't like incessantly checking it. I don't even know if I remember like consciously checking the comments, because you sent me a Facebook Messenger message and I kind of just posted it.
There's a lot of comments on that. I thought it closed. It was like 200 some people liked or loved it or whatever, and there's a lot of comments on
that. I just went on about my day. Like we had graduation that night for second year. I went and saw some of my friends graduate, and then I remember like whenever I got your message, I was in between like second year and third year graduation, and I was hanging out at the house that I was staying at, that Jonathan and Lene Gomez let me stay in, one of their properties. And I was hanging out at that house in the room that I was staying in, and I got your message, and then I responded, and then later you sent me the prayer. She sent me a recorded prayer, which is something that she and some of her friends do like regularly. Like they just record prayers for each other, audio prayers, and send them to each other. And she sent it to me, and I didn't get to listen to it until later. And so I listened to it around like 6:30 California time, which would have been like 9:30 her time in West Virginia. And when I was listening to it, the Holy Spirit just fell on me with such intensity, and I felt the purity and the innocence in what she was praying. And I just felt like I knew, I was like, I have to talk to this girl. Like, she's a powerful woman of God. Like, I just feel God. And it wasn't like, I don't know, you know how there's some people like that carry the anointing and it's like, it's almost like, it's intense.
But it was very peaceful.
With you, yeah, it was like, that's what I was.
You are. See? To know who we are in you. I thank you for all those sweet opportunities. I thank you.
Yeah. So, she prayed, and I immediately fell to my knees.
Now, sometimes I do get that way, but
yeah. Sometimes in worship.
No, not like that. I meant like intense and praying
for
people,
for
because somebody was making fun of me, like not too long ago. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So when I heard her praying, like I just fell to my knees next to the bed, and I remember I had my hands like out on the bed like this. And I just remember weeping and being like, I have to talk. I don't know why. This is crazy. I don't even know this girl, but I have to talk to this girl. And like, I did not take from her message before she sent me the prayer, like I did not take it as being like flirtatious at all. It was like so pure and innocent, and like really, and like I even responded with a very pure and innocent like response. Like because I felt so safe, I didn't feel like, I don't know, it just was way different. And I'd been praying for that exact thing. Like I was praying to God and asking God to like make it easy and make it just like not have to overthink it. I didn't want to overthink any of it because that's what my brain does. And so like God knows what he's doing. Like he just knew exactly how to connect us in a way that like was safe for me to show up authentically. And so I reached out to her and I just said, I don't remember exactly what I said right after the prayer. I didn't listen to it. I didn't listen to it till later.
Sharnice. This prayer really touched my heart and totally shifted my afternoon.
Yeah. So I listened to it at 6:31 p.m., but you had sent it at what time? Like
1.
at 1 in the afternoon. Yeah. So like I didn't listen to it till late that evening, and she sent it like that morning or that afternoon. And then I think I just asked her like where
are you from?
Yeah. I asked her where she was from. I told her I was from Texas. And then later that night, like after graduations were over, it was late. It was late California time.
When we talked on the phone.
When we talked on the phone, yeah. Like I asked her, I said, "Are you?" Because like guys, I'm a little bit old school in the sense of like I'm very like I don't like going up and asking a woman for their number because I don't want her to ever feel, I don't want a woman to feel obligated. Like when I was in the dating time, I didn't want a woman to feel obligated to give it to me because I feel like sometimes we accidentally can put women in a situation of feeling like they're pressured to give the number out because they've been asked. And like every woman is looking for, like every woman's wanting a husband, and so they're all, but I just feel like as men I think it's more honoring, more chivalrous to just say, hey, this is my number, if you want to reach out, reach out to me. And so that's what I did. I said, hey, here's my number. If you're a phone person, reach out to me. And she called me like almost, it was pretty quick. It was like it was like,
yeah,
it was pretty quick. It was,
said, I didn't know you meant like later.
I didn't. I meant like, well, call me
right
whenever.
Now.
Yeah. Like that's what
I mean, what I thought you meant.
So she called me.
That's one you're thinking of, because I was asking you about the fundraiser that you invited me to, and then it was 12:30 past
California
midnight.
time.
No,
your
time.
Your
so
time.
It was 9 o'clock.
And then we didn't even talk until almost 1.
Yeah, because you asked me if I was a phone person. It was 12:38 in the morning. My
time.
So
it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning her time, but I wasn't thinking because I was in California. I wasn't thinking about the time difference because I just wasn't processing all that. And so then we got on the phone. We were on the phone for like an hour maybe. Mm-hmm. And then I realized like halfway through the call that what time it was where she was. And I was like, and that's been a common theme of our relationship is I'm constantly telling her she needs to go to bed. I'm like, it's late. You need to go to bed. But yeah, I mean, like I was like, oh, it's really late. Like I need to let you get some rest. And then we got off the phone and
that's that night. I thought, well, whenever you ask me if I was a phone person, I was not like, I don't know. I'm not saying you thought I was your wife or by any means, but I'm not just trying to think, I don't know. Like I think you were just seeing more of like what God was doing at that point than I was at. Yeah. And I think it was also because of some experiences that God had used to teach me, like in leading up to meeting you, because I had gotten to the point that I had prayed, like at the beginning of that year, I was like, Lord, I don't want anyone to try to set me up with anybody else unless it's my husband. Like, I don't want anybody to reach out to me, because it's like, Lord, I'm really tired. And it's like, I am very content in it just being me and you. It's like, that's way more like, it's exhausting to feel like, oh, there's a glimmer of hope, that because we're human, like your mind's naturally going to like go there. Not that I'm thinking this person is my husband, but like there's the potential in figuring that out. And like, that's exciting to like get to know someone and like navigate all of that. But yeah, I was just like, I'm done. So if they're not it, like I don't want to keep doing this. And that I should say that. I'm not saying, I just had prayed for a lot of like discernment to know quickly. And I had an experience like right before meeting you that was like in between me praying like, God, please don't let me meet anybody else. But I added right at the end of that prayer, it was like, but Lord, if you want me to learn something else, like I'm going to like listen to you and be obedient. But if like the next person can be the person, like just asking God, because I knew I was tired. But I did end up having a situation that was like, no, I didn't date this person, but I don't even know. The kids call it talking, I guess. Like getting to know somebody that could be something. But it was crazy because I had prayed to know. Like I knew right off the bat, and I literally had this moment with God, like, okay, I guess we went the lesson route, like, but I did get something really good that helped me. Like if this person said this phrase to me that really totally reshaped a perspective that I had in my relationship with my earthly father, and like that was pivotal for me. So I know like God definitely uses everything, and I needed to go through that. But it was just crazy. So yeah, preparations.
Yeah, and I want to give some insight into like, okay, so leading up to how like we met, like God had been preparing both of us separately, and we're probably gonna have to take a break and do a part 2 here in a little bit because we've got things today. We've got a ring and robe ceremony for one of our guys that's moving in, and we got some other things that we've got to do. So we may record the second part of this video later this evening, but. One of the things that God did, so Randy Clark's conference, which is actually happening right now as we're recording this video, it's happening in California. But last year, so almost exactly 1 year ago, this time period, I was in California on New Year's Eve of 2025. New Year's Day of 2025, I'd started a fast. And God had told me that I was supposed to fast for 40 days in preparation for my future spouse. And I started the fast on New Year's Day at midnight on New Year's Eve. And so when I got to California, and when I flew into Redding, this is the first time I'd ever flown into Redding, California, I get to the airport, I feel the presence of God so strong inside the airport. And I was like, man, Redding is different. Redding is like, I don't even know how to explain it. If you've been to Redding, you do know exactly what I'm talking about, but there's something in the atmosphere there. And so when I got into the airport, I remember feeling like, okay, God, you're doing something in this community. And I heard the Lord say, it's the most random thing, y'all. He was like, count your bags. Like, count the bags coming out of baggage claim and count to see which number bag yours is. And I was like, that's so weird. Okay. But I did. And it got to my bag, and my bag was number 31. And immediately God was like, Proverbs 31 wife. That's what I'm preparing you for. I knew I was supposed to go to Randy Clark, and I knew that God was going to be using that fast and the Randy Clark conference to prepare me for my wife. Like I knew that. He had given me that much insight. And so the very first day of Randy Clark, I was sitting with my friend Veronica Polito. Veronica, if you're watching, thank you for just like being with me during that season. But we were sitting in the raised like bleacher section of the Randy Clark conference in the Civic Center. And it was like the first session. And Randy gets up, and we're praying for people all over, and like these words of knowledge are being called out, and like nothing is anything that I'm dealing with particularly, but we were just praying for people. And then all of a sudden, Randy, in his like Randy Clark voice, is, all right, now I just want you to check your bodies, everybody. And I'm like looking, I'm like, I don't know, I'll just check. Like I have some back stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll check my back. And then, I don't know, I was like kind of like just checking all my extremity. I don't know, it was weird. But I looked down at my hand, my left hand. And for those of you that don't know, when I was like 6 or 7 years old, which there's some other things that happened to me around that time period, which I feel like God was redeeming in that moment. But when I was like 6 or 7 years old, somewhere around that time period, I was playing football, and this ring finger, it got jammed. I caught a football incorrectly, and I really think it broke it, but it never got fixed. And so like my knuckle used to like kind of go up like that. And so like I would straighten out all my fingers, and this ring finger would be like, you could see it well above all the other fingers. And so I looked down and I had my fingers all straightened out, and this ring finger was straightened. And I was like, oh my goodness, God, you healed my ring finger. Well, I said you healed my finger, and then I realized, I was like, oh, it's my wedding ring finger. And then it just was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, like God is really doing something in me. And so fast forward to when Sharnice and I met, like we started sharing. Yeah, we started sharing stories. Yeah, we started sharing stories um, about like what God was doing in preparation for us. And I started telling her about the Randy Clark conference, and then I started telling her about, and I was like, we were talking about birthdays, and you somehow, I think this was several weeks into us like talking, we finally figured this all out. But I asked her what her birthday was, and then somehow it came up about the fast, and I was like, whoa, hold on, I'm going to look on my calendar. And the day that I broke fast was her birthday. And then we were like, whoa, that's crazy. And then we'll get into this a little bit later, but God has also used honey and bees as confirmations for us. And so just FYI, we'll get into this a little bit later, but God has done for us what he did for the Israelites in the wilderness. And he's given us sign after sign after sign after sign of the fact that we're in the right place, we're with the right person, like we've been obedient, like we have stewarded what he's given us well. It's like he's just confirmed after, like confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. And then one of the other confirmations was the fact that Sharnice had started this Bible study called Wild Honey, or this like Bible group. And she was telling me that God was speaking to her prophetically about honey. And I was like, well, that's interesting, because our church has had several prophetic words about bees, and God used a bee to confirm that I was at the right church at Cross Kingdom. The first time I preached, he like confirmed it. And I'm not a preacher at Cross Kingdom, but I preached because I used to be the ministry project coordinator, and they invited me to be a guest speaker. And but Sharnice was talking about honey, and I said, well, honey's in my name, because for those of you that don't know, but my name is spelled Anthoney, which, thank you, Dad, if you're watching. No one has ever spelled my name right the first time in my life, but I am unique, and I'm grateful for that. Truly, I really am. And so I said, well, honey's in my name. And so then she went back and did some digging on Facebook to find out when she started posting about this wild honey group. And it was on my birthday the year before. And so we met in May. And so it was almost 1 year ago prior that she had started this wild honey group. And I think it's interesting that it was called Wild Honey, because I think God was preparing you for a wild man, a redeemed wild man to come into your life. But
it was just like God was speaking to me a lot about like wilderness and like wild honey, and like about John the Baptist and like wild honey and locusts. So that's where that came from. But that all started, and I don't know, this is like a little side nugget, just the importance of obedience, because that all started for me because a woman came up at my church and shared a word that the Lord had given her for me. And yes, God's not like limited to this person, but like that's what sparked all of that honey, like took me down this winding path of honey, because that morning I was on my way to church, and I said to my phone, like, hey, if I say it right now, it's going to start playing. Hey, SIRI, play. And I don't even remember what I had asked her to play, but it didn't get it right. And she was like, playing, I don't even know, like something worship something. And the first song that came on was Honey in the Rock. And and so I was like, well, this is not what I was wanting to listen to, but I like this song. So I listen to that, and I get to church, and shout out to Jennifer. Thank you for being obedient. But after the service, I don't remember if that was the same day. Yeah, it was, I think. So my friend had come to our service, and she had asked me. I was leading worship that day, but at the end, I wasn't like leading that song that we were singing at the end of service. So she had asked me to come pray over her because she felt like the Lord was telling her I needed to specifically pray for her. So we were sitting down there, and then this woman comes up to me and shares with me that during when we were worshiping in song and I was singing, she said the Lord showed her me as a rock, and his glory was like shining on the rock. And then she said the rock cracked open and there was honey coming out. So honey in the rock, and honey came out of it. And she was sharing me how I was carrying honey that not just for our congregation, but like honey that people needed.
And really cool. The first sober living home that I managed was called the Rock. And so anyway, honey came out of the rock. And
honey did come out of the rock.
Yeah.
Look at him.
We're gonna take a break because we've literally got to get to the Genesis house for a ring and robe ceremony, but we'll come back. You guys won't experience the break, but we will. And
we will experience
we will record the second half of this a little later. So we'll see you soon.